Hello, welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. And today I'm going to talk to you about another film that you should check out. And it's available to watch for free on YouTube. And it's an action film that deserves its sequel, and after the long times of this movie, it reminds me how Sony, Columbia Pictures, will flesh out these awesome action espionage adventure movies back in the day, which we do not get those no more. How sad and tragic. I will be recommending the film Evelyn Salt 2010, starring Angelina Jolie, Livy Schreiber, and Ijamar Enmiwar, whatever that dude's name is from. I can't pronounce that dude's name. I'm sorry. And it's a story about a woman named Evelyn Salt who works for the CIA, who's been called out to be a Russian spy by a Russian assassin. And she goes on the run from the CIA to clear her name. But there's a twist, kind of a little bit towards the movie, where you really kind of question whose side that this woman's really on. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, anybody who grows tired of the wokeness that goes on with cinemas, where woman don't need no man, shout out to The Quartering, I'm gonna tell you straight up, this is the film that you need to check out. And it's a shame that this film didn't get a sequel. If you watch the director's cut, which the director's cut is currently free on YouTube as of this at this moment, well, it kind of ends. Well, I think you could still make a sequel, but the reason I believe this film is underrated is because this film could have been a franchise, and you have, I believe, one of Angelina Jolie's best action movies that she's ever done. And her performance of this is very captivating, where you see her play this character, Evelyn Salt, a very likable character who, from what you've seen in the film, who becomes very, very friendly with her superiors, with people around her, and she has a love life where shown in flashbacks and during missions of how they met, and you quickly become invested in her world. You quickly become invested in who she is and what she's, her life. Until you have this Russian guy comes in there and says, "You are a Russian spy. You got to go. Join me on my endeavors, Evelyn." She's like, holy crap. And the thing is, though, here's the thing. And it does bring up the question, when somebody calls you out on that, why would you want to run? Well, you can get paranoid and scared. It's like you get caught in a moment, like thinking, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Why you accuse me of something? Yes, you are. And then you just kind of go on the run. You know? It's like, man, I ain't no Russian spy. I ain't trying to go to jail. Evelyn, you better stop. No, please, no. It's like, I ain't doing anything. Like, yes, you did. Well, turns out she actually is a Russian spy. She just gave it up when she fell in love with her target. And what I really loved about this is that, and thinking back to this movie, because I'm going to just tell you right now, this film, no wokeness. It's a film about a character, a female character who literally fell in love with somebody. Fell in love with this person. Showed her a new perspective on life, anything that didn't deal with her career. Something fascinating. That this guy really likes insects, and she got fascinated with who he was, his world. And she gave up kind of that secret life and tried to eliminate parts of her old life and adapting to the CIA world. But all that goes into a sham until her boss ruins that for her, and then she kind of has to complete her original mission, which really she's trying to create a big diversion to gain the trust of her boss, so she can basically take him out and the rest of these sleeper Russians, American spies that are trying to take down the American ideals. That's kind of like the whole story of this movie. And I'm gonna tell you, this movie makes me kind of miss those action movies that Sony would make, kind of like the early 2000s or early 2000s to the 2010s to like mid. Somewhere it kind of stopped. Somehow it kind of just stopped. And the practical effects used in this film were phenomenal. It had a nice throwback action kind of vibe to it. Like, it really stood out. And there is multiple versions of this film. There's the extended cut, which is like a minute or two longer, which they extended really certain sequences. Really, it doesn't add too much to it. But I'm gonna tell you the director's cut, which is currently available to watch for free. But if you want to watch the original version, you have to pay. The director's cut shifts around certain scenes and eliminates certain scenes from the original film. Like, there's a sequence in the film where, in the original cut, the theatrical edition, where Evelyn kills her boss, spoiler alert, kills her boss at this location at a ship. If I remember correctly, it's at a ship. Once she is forced to watch her husband die, to kind of tie up loose ends for her to get back on the trust of the for the Russians. And you could see emotionally she's about to just let loose. But you know, it was an intense scene. It was an intense scene. Like, she displays like yeah, tries her best not to cry. But then when she gets that opportunity at that scene, she lets everybody up. She lets everybody up, and you can tell that she really did love this guy. However, in the director's cut, that scene does not happen, and the way of the character, how he dies, is different. Because in the theatrical cut, they just killed the lover. They just shoot him. Like, wherever she enters the room, they immediately just shoot him. In the director's cut, they drown him, and she is forced to watch him die drowning. And the shootout that happens in that sequence after does not show up in the film at all. They completely remove that scene, and there's a new ending that happens towards the end of the film, where she meets the boss at back in Russia at his location, where she was raised to be a spy, as a assassin, and she shoots her in the legs and then drowns him. Kind of the same treatment that she basically had to witness from her husband, and that is a spoiler of the versions of the movie. Other than that, this is a really good film. This is a good espionage, fun movie that you don't have to think too hard. You just it's like a 90-minute action spy thriller, which I kind of miss those kind of thrillers. Like, you don't really get those anymore. I mean, recently we have these serious Sicario films, and I'm eagerly waiting for the third film. But I can tell you, I thought this was probably one of the most fun films I had with any Angelina Jolie movies. Like I could tell you, this one rocks. And it ends to where you feel there could be more world building to this film, to this story. And I actually was really looking forward for a sequel to materialize, but unfortunately, nothing has happened yet, and it's been 12 years. And I don't know how much longer we can wait for a sequel. In fact, you know what? I would really pinch it out or like reach out to Angelina Jolie, because she also directs too. that she could direct her own feature film. Like if she wanted to, if she really loved that character, if they found the right story, she could really come back as Evelyn Salt. You know, they could come back like years later, saying like, I've been on a decade hunting these other Russian spies and just knocking them out, and then they could come up with some sort of interesting twist that I don't know, some sort of espionage twist that they could try to pull up something. But I highly recommend Salt. You can currently watch it on YouTube, the director's cut. And really, it doesn't matter which version, but I go ahead and check out the director's cut, available on YouTube. Salt, have you seen it? Comment below, let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movies.